So, the future of the Dirt Rally franchise. Well, it is completely up in the air and none of us know anything for certain. Right, that's another video wrapped up. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Alright, fine, relax, I'll dive deeper into it. Hi, my name is Sim and welcome to Sim's Racing. Now, knowing the future of the Dirt Rally franchise is something many of us are very eager to have the answer to. Unfortunately, at this very moment, no official announcement has been released by the Dirt Rally development team. So that leaves us with a whole bunch of questions such as, will there be a Dirt Rally 3? Are they moving straight on to their first WRC title? Have there been any news leaks, or how's EA going to destroy this franchise? Well, in today's video I'll try to figure some of those things out. Keep in mind that most of this is based on what I read or discovered online over the years. Some of it comes directly from the development team, other things are based on speculation. Hopefully, in the end, by collecting all the information and trying to link it together, we can make an educated guess as to what the future of this magnificent franchise is going to look like. Now, the best way to tackle this is to create some sort of basic timeline in regards to the bits of information we have. So where do we start? Well, that's very simple. Let's put the release dates of past Dirt games on it first, going all the way back to 2007 when Colin McRae Dirt came out. I could back up even further to the original Colin McRae Rally series, however that's a bit unnecessary as the pattern is roughly the same and my timeline wouldn't fit properly on the screen. So, as I mentioned before, the Colin McRae Dirt title was released in 2007. 2 years later, in 2009, Dirt 2 sees the light of day. Fast forward another 2 years to 2011 and we have the release of Dirt 3. After that they tried to change direction somewhat, releasing Dirt Showdown in 2012 and Colin McRae Rally, a reboot or legacy version of Colin McRae Rally 2.0 in 2013. Those two weren't a huge success, so Codemasters decided to go back to their roots and, out of the blue, released a hardcore rally game called Dirt Rally in 2015. Being back on track, 2 years after Dirt Rally, we get Dirt 4. Now, before we continue, you might have noticed my timeline suddenly splits up, and there's a very good reason for that. After Dirt 4, Codemasters decided to separate the Dirt and Dirt Rally franchises from one another completely. This means that both franchises, to this very day, are being developed by two different teams, something which wasn't the case before and is very important to keep in mind as we move along. So in 2019, 2 years after the release of Dirt 4, Dirt Rally 2.0 goes live. And finally in 2020 we got Dirt 5, the last title connected to those franchises to be released. Based on this timeline, I believe Codemasters' plan was to continue releasing games for each franchise every 2 years. In other words, a new Dirt Rally in 2021, a Dirt game in 2022, another Dirt Rally title in 2023, etc, etc, etc. Now, I'm not saying that willy-nilly, there is supporting evidence for it. In June of 2020, Dirtfish put out an article regarding Codemasters' acquisition of the WRC license. In the article, linked in the description down below, is written that starting from 2023, Codemasters will develop the officially licensed FIA World Rally Championship games, and that for a period of 5 years. It also states the first of those titles is going to be based on the 2023 season and will be released before March of 2024. Now you might be thinking, Sim, what does this have to do with your 2-year release plan idea? Well, it's the following paragraph of the article which is very intriguing. It states, Codemasters said, "We are committed to Rally and the Dirt Rally team is already working on their next project ahead of the WRC agreement in 2023. So putting all the information from the article on the timeline, the idea of releases each year switching between the Dirt and Dirt Rally franchise still stands. And I can already hear you saying, this numbnuts can't even do basic maths.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Granted, it does look like the whole video is falling apart rather rapidly, but hear me out. Ever since that June 2020 article, a lot has happened which might have significantly impacted the development of our unknown title. First of all, there's the whole pandemic thingy which affected everyone and has resulted in huge delays regarding game releases within the whole industry. Secondly, there's the acquisition of Codemasters by the Big Bad Wolf, better known as EA, in February of 2021. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, whether the Codemasters dev teams are allowed to just continue their work, or whether EA immediately got involved and started creating new projects, putting all the ones on hold, or even scrapping them completely. We can only try and figure things out based on press releases by EA and Codemasters, or articles quoting people involved with either corporation. Looking at EA's official press release, you get the usual marketing talk with additional comments from the CEOs. Andrew Wilson, the CEO of EA, said the following: "This is the beginning of an exciting new era for racing games and content as we bring together the talented teams at Electronic Arts and Codemasters. Racing fandom continues to grow worldwide, and the franchises in our combined portfolio will enable us to create innovative new experiences and bring more players into the excitement of cars and motorsport. Our teams will be a global powerhouse in racing entertainment with amazing games for players on every platform. We can't wait to get started." Frank Sagnier, former CEO of Codemasters, stated, "Today is a landmark in Codemasters history and an exciting day for our employees and players. The partnership with EA will enable our teams to take our highly acclaimed franchises to new heights and reach a huge global audience through their player network. Together we can redefine the landscape of racing games to create even more compelling experiences for racing fans around the world." You might have noticed I said Frank Sagnier is the former CEO, as he no longer fulfills that role since the end of July 2021. Rashid Farachia, the CFO at the time of the acquisition, also left the company at the same time. So does this mean EA instantly started cleaning house and took over the whole operation? Not necessarily. According to most sources, them stepping down was always part of the plan for Codemasters' induction into the EA brand. In other articles, Andrew Wilson also stated the following, which is interesting. "Similar to Respawn, our orientation isn't to come in and take over Codemasters, our orientation isn't to come in and turn Codemasters into another Electronic Arts studio, our orientation is around the provision of opportunity. This industry is all about amazing creative talent, and we see little upside in the indoctrination of that amazing creative talent. But we do want to provide them access to the things that we get by virtue of our position in the industry." Wilson goes on to say that EA has an amazing cupboard that contains myriad IP, modern tech, marketing resources, and an inbuilt player base. He suggests EA is merely handing Codemasters a set of keys to access these tools, much in the same way the publisher has with Respawn, the creators behind Apex Legends, for example. Now, all the worrying signs this alludes to in regards to monetization are irrelevant when it comes to the development future of our beloved Dirt Rally franchise. What this does mean is that projects which are already in development stay alive. In other words, the game referred to in the Dirtfish article should still be in the works. Getting back to our timeline, and based on the information we gathered, the next rally title by Codemasters should be another Dirt Rally. Because of the pandemic and the acquisition by EA, the game's development might have been delayed somewhat, but could quite possibly still be released in the near future. However, based on the conversations I've had with lots of people in the community, not many expect this to come to fruition. Most are convinced that the next simulation rally title is going to be Codemasters' first WRC game and not a new Dirt Rally. So why do I keep clinging to the next release being a new Dirt Rally? Well, there are several reasons for it. First of all, the Dirt Rally franchise is incredibly popular to this very day, with a loyal and very active core player base. Dirt Rally 2.0 is still going very strong despite the fact that it's 3 years old and no new content has been released for over a year now. Then there's everything I said earlier, referring to what was mentioned in the Dirtfish article. The development of that new Dirt Rally game started shortly after the release of Dirt Rally 2.0, which is a completely normal way of doing things in the gaming industry. In other words, that game has been in development for roughly 3 years. Now, in normal circumstances, that should be more than enough time to come up with something brilliant. However, there are certain other factors we need to take into account. Electronic Arts' acquisition of Codemasters requires them to adjust their games and systems in order to work within EA's ecosystem and implement EA's live services and online features. I suspect doing this does take some time to realize when a game is already in an advanced stage of development. Other elements which might have had an effect are the perks that came with EA's involvement. There might have been certain features or aspects Codemasters wasn't able to develop due to their own limitations. EA's backing might have opened some of the doors they believe to be firmly shut. I'm thinking of a dynamic weather system, a new or highly improved road surface degradation system, or a fully fleshed out stage generator with an unlimited amount of combinations. So many possibilities which could be enabled due to EA's involvement. And don't get me wrong, I know EA will also bring loads of drawbacks for us as players, especially regarding live services and exploitative monetization, of which I'm definitely not a fan. But I put these things aside as it does not necessarily affect the development of the gameplay itself. Another aspect we need to have a look at is the game engine they've used in the past. By the time Dirt Rally 2.0 released, it was already fairly old. That title pushed the game engine to its limits, which means there's not much else they could squeeze out. With the latest F1 game, Codemasters admitted that they basically maxed it out. In other words, it's time for them to move on to a new one. Whether they will opt to go for the Unreal Engine, for example, or are in the process of developing a brand new one in-house remains to be seen. A new game engine would enable them to create a title which is even more stunning from a visual standpoint, as well as open up the design for far longer stages and much more. So even though EA's involvement and the new game engine might have caused them to delay the game, I still believe they will release it and not just drop it to work towards their first WRC game. And why do I believe that? Well, for one, that first WRC game is still roughly 2 years away, with a release date most likely scheduled for Q1 of 2024. KT Racing and Big Band Interactive still have the license until the end of 2022, which means Codemasters can't start developing their WRC title yet because they don't have access to the data from teams and the WRC promoter. Besides, the WRC event calendar for 2023 is also unknown, so they can't start working on the locations either. Secondly, as I mentioned before, Dirt Rally 2.0 still has a strong, active and loyal player base, but without any new content coming in the future, the game doesn't generate much revenue, something which is very important for a business. Releasing a new Dirt Rally game whilst there is still that incredibly active player base will create a huge new stream of revenue. And finally, a new Dirt Rally game would be an ideal way to prepare for the launch of their first WRC game. Having the experience of developing a game whilst working with brand new technology and systems, releasing it and offering strong post-launch support would offer unbelievably valuable information and data ahead of the release of that first WRC title. They could learn from what ends up being successful or a disaster, adapt and eventually end up with the best WRC or even rally game that's ever been released. So there you have it, this is my educated guess on what the future of the Dirt Rally franchise is going to look like. I suspect there will be a new Dirt Rally game releasing in the next 6 months, with an announcement coming shortly. Now, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like button. Also consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell if you want to see more of our content in the future, as it helps the channel out a lot. You are also welcome to discuss in the comments below, but just keep it civil and respect each other's opinion. That's it from me, thank you very much for watching, good luck and until next time.